Welcome everybody. I wanted to greet you and say we're going to talk today about step-by-step learning to sing step by step. This is our episode number 58. Just want to make sure that you're able to see me and hear me before we really get off to the races at the top of the hour. So how's everybody doing today? I hope you had a great week, and this should be a really interesting and informative session today. I'm actually going to pull back the curtain a little bit and show you how I planned out my first, I don't know, couple hundred videos on YouTube, and it wasn't just random selections of topics and so forth, that there was some method in the madness, and I want to share that with you today and talk a little bit about step-by-step learning to sing. I'm fighting a cold, which is a big negative because I'm also in a show, which some of you who know, I've had this unique hairstyle for a little while, and so anyway. So here's the question. Is step-by-step learning to sing similar to learning to talk? What do you think? Hi, Subia. Great to have you with us today again. Yapadios, hello. Awesome to have you here. Alicio Giacomini. Hi. Nice to have you with us. MD Saful Islam Saifrana. Hello. Sorry about that. Okay, so yes, this is my Mr. Scrooge beard. They call them chops. I don't know what they call them in the 1800s, early 1800s, but it works really great on stage. At the grocery store, I get some strange looks. At least I think I do. So the show is going really well. Really well. It's just been a blast, and it's the reason why I do all this. Really, I love being on stage. I love acting and singing, and this is a really awesome version of A Christmas Carol, and by Charles Dickens. And we're just having a great time, great audience reception, and so anyway. So what do you think? Is learning to talk similar to learning? Step-by-step learning to sing? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd be curious to see what your opinion is of it. My wife and I actually have 8 children, and our first son, who was child number 4, he was just mumbling and jumbling and a run-on, just mumble, jumble, and it was just incoherent. When he was like 18 months, all of a sudden one day I could actually hear some words in there, and he was talking in paragraphs. Hello everybody, this is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 58, and our topic today is learn to sing step by step. So to start it off, just want to greet you and welcome you to the show today and ask this question: is learning to sing step by step similar to learning to talk? What do you think? We've got a few people who've made some comments. Let me just get to that. The bridge says, I think it is similar. I've seen someone with your old kids doing things like lick bubbles on their own. Hey, isn't that true? I think when we're young, we're doing that. We don't even know, what we're doing exactly. I have some adults that can't do it as well as these little kids. And so I do think there are some similarities. Anybody else have any opinions? I'd be curious. The bridge says also their first sounds like vocal exercises. They certainly are able to get their vocal cords together, and they don't have any difficulty being at speech level, do they? As I've been thinking about this, I think there are some similarities. For the first thing we're doing, well, we are doing vocal exercises right from birth, the first day, right? Wah, wah, wah. And certainly the chord structure is together. Ah, we're not going ah, 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 or ooh, ooh, or ah, ah. We're not pulling just. We're really got a nice vocal coordination going as a newborn. But back to learning to talk. First, really what we're doing is we're listening all the time. We're listening to voices. We're listening and watching speaking, and we're watching mouths move, and we're watching lips move, and we're hearing tones and tone qualities, and so we're watching a lot. And we're hearing, it's repetition, 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 just repeatedly over and over again. And so when we finally get old enough to start babbling a little bit, our parents or our families get so excited because we're making these noises, and before you know it, somebody's saying da, ba, da, da, mama, something like that, and all of a sudden everybody gets real excited and real thrilled about that. And so that gives us some feedback, and so now we're what? I mean, it's been a year, it's been maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, we start putting together some words here and there. And it's different for everybody, by the way. Some learn faster, some learn slower. And then we have maybe 3 or 4 words together. We start assembling these words because they appear to be meaning things, and before you know it, we're speaking in sentences. But, it's usually been a couple years before we really start to kind of exert our ideas and start communicating, and for some of us it's longer than that. Some of us it's shorter. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, he was just mumbling, always making noises. And then one day I could hear like 3 or 4 words in this long run-on sentence, and he was actually speaking in sentences before he could even really pronounce his words. So he had all of this language going. He was an early talker, and he's been very prolific in speaking all of his life. In a average student, it's 2 to 3 years. Average student, average child, average infant to early childhood. Before we're really able to have two-way communication, and even then it's kind of iffy. And so, but eventually we do. By the time we're 5 years old, we're in school in many countries, and we're going to start learning in classrooms and things. What about singing? I'm curious too, those of you who speak English as a second language. I don't have a second language. I only speak English, and that's marginally well. What do you think, those of you who have studied foreign languages, which many of you today are from overseas and are not in the States, I'm curious what your opinion is about learning a language. How long would you say it take to really become conversant in a foreign language? Is there a step-by-step procedure to learning a language? I think there must be. I took French in 4th grade, and it seems to me like we started with alphabets and sounds and so forth. I've got to guess that it's really quite similar to that. Learning to sing step by step can be very similar to learning to talk or learning another language. Yeah, so the comment here from Mindy, he's saying that he's watched his nieces and nephews, and when they start to go for the high notes, they're already starting to kind of reach up. That's what we do because it feels like it's high, so we're reaching high. And we don't even have to be taught that, do we? And we can kind of know that if we stretch, we're stretching something inside our necks. Even though the vocal cords are horizontal, there is some stretching that can occur, and maybe it helps us once in a while, but I mean, not really help us. We think it's helping, and maybe we can hit a note, but it's kind of a yelled note or a pinched or squeezed note. So it's so easy for us who are learning on our own to get into bad habits. Okay. Well, curious about, Amen Y says yes, and I'm guessing he probably means that there's some similarities between learning a language as well. So let me share something with you. you know, many of you, and I guess all of you, subscribe to Power to Sing, and those who are watching this live, and many of you who are maybe watching this later after the broadcast, maybe you've just found this channel. Okay, so just let me read the comment, the bridge. I think learning to talk is more similar to learning than learning a foreign language, singing. And Subia says, yep, it requires a step-by-step to learn something, same with singing. And I think it's probably just general learning principles. We usually like the step-by-step procedure. Let me just show you something that on my website, I did a spreadsheet. And on this spreadsheet, some years ago, I outlined over 100 videos. So here's a screenshot. Now, let me see here. I'm guessing you probably can't read that. So let me pull this up. So what I did, this is a table of contents, TOC, and I divided it into modules. And I had, the first module was belief and knowledge. The second module was vocal basics. The third was vocal types. The fourth was what is a vocal register. The fifth, vocal bridges. 6, a balanced voice. 7, how to sing with a mix. How to sing with confidence is module 8. Module 9, how to sing higher, and so on. How to sing without breaking. Module 11. Now, inside each module, if we open these up here, inside module 1, so what I'm leading to here is that episode 1 was the first video that I created in a series of like over 100 videos. And so for a step-by-step procedure on how to sing, you could actually begin with episode 1, and it would be how to sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. And the episode 2 is, changing your beliefs. Episode 3, there's a physical reason for problems that you have. Episode 4, and so on. Every single one of these were planned out in advance, and some of them I changed or tweaked a little bit. And that's just in module 1, which covers everything about knowledge and belief. Then in module 2 begins episode number 9, which is about vocal cords, which happens to be my #1 video. It was, it's had, I don't know how many views. I'll show you. And so episode 10, how to sing the high notes, how to sing the high notes to sing higher, control your vocal cords, and here's how. So we go through some of the singing basics, and that included episode 9 through, it looks like episode 17. And then then I had module 3, and module 3 covers vocal types. Episode 19, how do you sing high notes is determined by your vocal type. And we talk about why do you strain, why do singers tend to pull chest, why do they tend to, episode 23, sing high notes, bad breath control equals straining, and it's right on down the line. Okay, now let's go back to the website for a second. If I showed you, if we go to the video section, if you go to the videos, let me show this to you. You can, here at the top, there's home and videos, playlists, and so forth. The easiest thing I think that you can do is just click on the videos, and on the right-hand side, you can sort these by age. And so I would sort them by oldest, okay? So if you sort them by oldest, then you can find, here it is, episode number 1, how to sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. Episode number 2, the greatest obstacle you face, and so forth. So these are all dealing with beliefs about your voice and confidence. And then here's number 9, episode number 9, which has 3.6 million views. And we just put up a couple years ago. It's only 5 minutes long, and I've had so many people tell me that this video has been, helpful, impactful video. And so you can go right through this, all these episodes here, and get a step-by-step helps on learning how to sing. Actually have on episode 17 how to sing infographic in 8 stages, and kind of breaks down this whole process using an infographic. And so you can go down these videos here and watch episode by episode. Now I've kind of done the same thing with the playlist, but these are broken out into topics as well. So Sing with Confidence represents the first 8 videos that I showed you about confidence and belief in your voice, and so you really have a step-by-step resource with the Power to Sing videos, where you can start at episode number 1 and it will take you. There's a rather logical sequence from beginning to well, at least the end of the episodes, and then I do Q&As for a bunch of videos. And I keep these live videos, I try to keep these live videos all assigned to a live video playlist. Let me get back to the questions and answers and see if anybody has any questions or comments about this. And a couple of shout outs here to those of you who have just joined us. Thank you for being here today. Let me answer a couple questions and say hi to a few folks. Frizoki, hello. I haven't said hi to you. Nice to have you with us today. Thank you. I love your content. Thanks for everything. Thank you. Let me see if we have some others who've joined us. VC, hello. Nice to have you with us. Jet Quinn, hi Jet. Ethan Rose, great to have you with us today, Ethan. Draxiba. These videos help me so much for my voice to gain confidence. Awesome, thank you. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, so the main message here is that there is a step-by-step logic, particularly with the episodes. If it were me, I would make sure that I had watched 1 through however many. I think there's like 100 and I don't know. Can't remember now, 117 of those, and then there's a couple hundred more videos I've done since the end of the episodes, and but I would definitely try and get those episodes in the order in which they were given. I think you'll find some more logic to the step-by-step process. Yaman says, I'm doing great, sir. Hope you remember me. I wanted to say thanks for listening to my voice and telling my vocal type. It meant a lot to me. You're welcome. And thank you. Amen says, I'm looking great. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. We were talking about learning how to sing versus learning how to talk, and several have said it felt like it was similar. Subi asks, I actually don't know how long I should practice a vocal exercise. And second, are there so many exercises? There are so many exercises. What do I start with? I would recommend that number 1, you find out your vocal type, and I think Subia, you've done that. Those of you who haven't gotten your vocal type, go to powertosing.com and take the vocal test, the power test. It's on the home page, powertosing.com. And once you get your vocal type, then you go to the Knowledge Center. Go to the Knowledge Center and watch the videos about your vocal type. There are free exercises for your vocal type that you can download and start practicing them. That's where I would start, Subia. And I would do those exercises every day. And you don't need to be doing hours of work with this, but if you did it every day and you did them correctly, you will make amazing progress. The correct way to do them is the key, because if you do them wrong, you could practice 5 hours a day wrong and you're not going to make any progress, and you're going to retrogress. And so I would, you get those going. I do have a course many of you have already purchased, Sing Higher Than Ever Before. The exercises in there are great, and they're going to help you learn how to bridge. I am, just for FYI, I'm going to be shortly releasing my next course, which is Master the High Notes, and then there'll be one final course in this pathway of pulled chest, high larynx, sing higher than ever before, master the high notes, and then, let me see, I might be getting it out of order. And then there's one other one that's going to be kind of the finishing one that will be, I've got written, I just need to record it and put it on. So for many of you, that's going to be what you're going to want to do, because the exercises there are going to continue to help you progress, particularly, especially those of you who've already purchased the course. Yapadio says, I was definitely one of those kids. You mean the ones that were speaking in paragraphs before you could talk, actually? Oh, me too. I used to do that lip bubble. Great. So there was a message held for review. I'm not sure what that was, Subia. Okay, so yeah, so the bridge makes an interesting comment here. They produce really loud sounds, these little babies. I don't know a baby who got hoarse because of making sounds. Me too. Now I know they can get hoarse when they're sick, but that's because there's like a, infection on their vocal cords or something like that. That's why the baby cry sound warm-up is a good kind of warm-up exercise. It depends, Subia. If it's done correctly, yes, like a baby. If it's pulled chest kind of warm-up, no. All right. I don't know why they have these show hide things on our messages. I don't get it. Let me see what if it happens if I push show. Well, I guess it's just, maybe you don't see those. When I pushed show, then it was no longer gray. It came up in solid black lettering. But I was, maybe the rest of you couldn't see it before I could. I'm not sure. Okay. You guys are having a nice conversation. That's awesome. So Berno Inferno says it's all down to the sense of self. Baby has no sense of self and is so free, both physically and emotionally. Good point. We only develop self of self as we learn language, and that's when we start getting scared to sing in front of people. And that's when we start trying to add things to our voices and everything else. I've actually seen that happen with some of my students, where when they're really young, they come in maybe 6 years old, and they just sing out. They just sing, and it's big and it's beautiful, and their vocal cords are coming together. And then I've had a student come back later, maybe had left the studio, then came back for more lessons, and this time they're 10, 11, 12. And guess what happens? Now they're shy. Now they're light chest, no chest. I can't get their chords together. They're afraid to make a sound. They're embarrassed by their voice. And it really surprised me the first couple times it happened. But believe me, I worked with a couple of these kids for months and months. And they still, I never told them this, but they still never regained what they had in terms of natural chord adduction and voice when they were 6 years old because of the mental thing. So I think you make a really great point, Berno. That's a really interesting insight. All causing problems with the voice. Right on. It says being inquisitive is the key. Yes. Okay, so Kanzo Kao. What do I think about belting? There's a lot of definitions about with belting, and so it's a little nebulous. If a belt is kind of like a yell, just a hard, pulled up chest kind of belt, I don't think it's good for the voice. I don't like listening to it myself personally, and in many cases, it damages the voice. There have been multiple professional singers who belt and who have had to have surgery on their vocal cords because of the damage they've done to their voices. So I oppose it. If we don't have the muscle strength, how can we build a strong mixed voice? Don't belt, because you can't build mix while you're belting. You don't want to pull chest. You want to, first of all, this is a long answer. The short answer is get your vocal type, find out what you do when you tend to sing through the bridge, first bridge of your voice, and then watch the videos about your vocal type on powertosing.com and in the Knowledge Center, and then download the free exercises and start working on those. That's going to help you develop your mix. So once the voice is in balance, then you can really start to build power into your voice without having to yell. It takes time. Compare it to learning how to talk. Any advice on accepting your own voice? Yes, here's some advice. Nilesh, haven't seen you for a while. Nice to have you with us. One day I said to someone, I really like Barbra Streisand's voice. And they said, I don't like it at all. Well, maybe you don't know who Barbra Streisand is, but she is an amazing singer, in my opinion. She has a natural mix. She had a natural mix all of her life. Fabulous voice, fabulous actress, and she's won Academy Awards. She's won Grammys, and she's one of the Hollywood heavyweights. Anyway, they didn't like her voice, and I thought, my gosh, how could they not like her voice? She's amazing. Well, I started thinking about that, and I thought, now wait a minute. If everybody in the world doesn't like the very best singers that are out there, why would I think that everybody should like my voice? Do you all like Pavarotti? Do you even know who he is? Do you all like Kurt Cobain? Do you all like, let me see, who are some others that are kind of out there? Just pick a genre. What you're going to find out, all right, here's an example. Lady Gaga, as of a few months ago, had like 70 million followers on Twitter. But that's only 1% of the Earth's population. 1%. Now, on any, so even the very best, not everybody likes their voice. So it's the problem we face is that we think everybody should. Or we get nervous that not everybody's going to like our voice. Right. Do you like everybody's voice? Do you like every singer you hear? No, I don't. So the way I look at it is on any given night, I perform in a theater that has about 520 seats if it's a full house. So I look at it and say, maybe 100 people are really excited about my voice and love to hear me sing. Maybe another 100 are going to say, yeah, he's okay. Maybe another 100 are going to say, I don't care either way. Another 100 are going to say, I don't really like his voice that well. And another 100 are going to say, I wish I wasn't even here. I can't stand it. Okay, that's life. But if I had 20%, if I had 20% of the world's population that liked my voice, remember that's only 20 out of 100, right? But how many millions? That'd be like, what, 200 million or something? So, now it's probably more than 200 million. 20% would be more than that. But anyway, you get my drift. Accept the fact, the fact that not everyone's going to like your voice, and just sing for the people who do. If you don't like your voice, that's pretty normal. That's a pretty average thing. Give yourself some time. If you're training and you're learning how to do this correctly, the time will come when you'll like it. And there will be people who will like your voice. Your voice. You don't have to add in anything. You don't have to change anything. So I've learned to accept my voice, and I've learned to accept the realization that not everybody's going to like it. And that's life, and that's the way it is. And so sing for those few who do. They'll be out there, and they'll really want to connect with you. Nilesh. So Mendy says, follow up to my above comment, so clearly we aren't born with proper technique. If at a young age we're reaching, unless there is something that they pick up between infancy and age 4. You know, Mindy, I know a couple people who have been born with good technique. I can think of 2. And there's a few professionally that I've heard that I think they were born with good technique, and I've heard they haven't had any lessons. But most of the rest of humanity, even if we have a bit of a gift, we have to study it, we have to apply ourselves, and if we really want to excel. Subia says, I feel like my mixed voice sounds a little bit nasal. Can you tell me some exercise to remove the nasality? Nasality is primarily caused by a high larynx. So I said, Sometimes when that larynx is up, it kind of puts it in your nose. So the first thing I would say is try dropping your, pulling the larynx down with this dopey sound. And I do it on a gee, 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 gee. And I do those gee, gee, gees to make sure that when you're doing them, that you're going hooty. Gee, 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 gee. Because if you're saying gee, 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 the larynx is coming up. So you've got to stay dopey and allow it to go hooty on the top. Goo or goo goo. Goo 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 goo. But you notice it doesn't sound like goo 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 goo. It's got to be dopey, and it has to go so it's like that, duh. And you go to the top, goo 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 goo. Ooh ooh. Has that hooty kind of sound. Goo 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 gee 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 gee. Second thing is, make sure that your tongue is resting, relaxed, and the tip of the tongue is resting just behind the lower teeth. Don't pull it up. Don't pull it back into your throat. Don't arch it into the back of your throat. Just let it relax. Just allow it to be normal, and rest comfortably below the lower teeth as much as possible. That'll also help. Make sure there's no tension in your jaw, in your head and neck and so forth, because the tension will get the outer muscles involved too. So those 3 things will help. So the bridge, do narrow vowels develop earlier than wider vowels? I think wider vowels are very natural, kind of like what was commented already, that we kind of are born with, when we try and reach up to the high notes, we'll sing ah or no. We tend to spread the vowel. So I would say more open vowels or spread vowels or splatty vowels occur very naturally. And the narrower vowels, I'm talking about in singing, we have to kind of focus on. We have to work on those. We have to be aware of them and be careful with them. Joe Weston, hi Joe. Do you spread your? Oh, I do spread myself thin. Yeah, I do. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Okay, so Colin, hi Colin, says I can do warm-ups fairly well, but then it falls apart when I tackle an actual song. specifically on my bridge. Ugh. Yeah. So another exercise that you may find helpful so that you, there's two things. Number one, is most of the reason why we fall apart in the bridge is because the larynx is still coming up, or the vowels are spreading. So I would search for vowel modification in the Knowledge Center on my website, and look up the hacks for vowel modifying, because it will give you a play-by-play account on what vowel tends to spread and what you should narrow it to. But a good exercise to build the ability to stay in your mix is no, 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 no. Now notice I didn't say no, 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 no. I kept the nu and the no in the same place. No, 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 no. But if it went no, 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 then the sound would be dropping down into my mouth, and I would be pulling my chest voice, which is what tends to happen when we're in the bridge. So by doing those vowel changing exercises from narrow to wide, nu, no, or goo, go, goo, 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 go, 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 go. Those kinds of exercises will help you not do that in your bridges. That's a quick answer to a very challenging and difficult thing. I still have to watch it myself. Another thing I do, Colin, is I go through all the words in my songs. I should, and I do most of the time. I've done that in the show I'm in right now, and found the words that were in my first bridge. And those are the ones that are going to tend to splat and throw me out of my good coordination. And so I narrow those vowels before I even begin. I write in the new word. So if I have to say and, I write E and D, and that's going to get me into my mix. Or if I have to say love, it's easy to spread that vowel. So I think of look, love. And so that's going to help me find and get that mix, and I plan it before I do the song. That's a real big help. You might try that. So Mindy says, final thought on young kids reaching, maybe it comes down to who they listen to at a young age. I think that's a really good point. And we tend to, I get a lot of students who love like Adele, right? So what do? They stand here in my studio and pull chest because they're singing like Adele. So it helps if people listening to Barbra Streisand or Josh Groban or Amy Lee from Evanescence, many others. You can go to to the website, watch the videos on mix in the Knowledge Center, and have a bunch of examples of good mix singers. Jet Quinn says, I've lost my falsetto after pulling chest real high. I can't tell whether I lost it because my voice is changing or because I was pulling chest. How old are you, Jet? The bridge, same for painters. Do everybody like Picasso? Oh, good point. Yeah, so exactly. Artists, we all have our tastes. And so the reality is not everybody's going to like your painting. Not everyone's going to like your voice. But you'll learn to like yours. Anyways, thank you so much. I was really struggling to start recording. I'll keep what you said in mind. Yeah, good. Okay, so Jet says, I get mad whenever people say that it's my voice changing because the major change took place a couple of years ago. Okay, I see. I believe it's because I pulled chest. Nobody will believe me. So Jet, I'd have to listen for sure, but okay, Colin, you're welcome. So it's really easy to abuse our voice. You know, it's easy to pull up chest. and for sure we'll get locked out at the top. Now I'm guessing instead of falsetto you mean your head voice. And so because I don't teach how to sing in falsetto, I teach how to keep it, keep the tone connected, keep the resonance connected. So in situations like this, Jet, you could probably save months, maybe years, if you take a couple of voice lessons. I found them to be very helpful for my voice personally. Sometimes that's just the fast answer, the easy answer, and the best answer. So you might want to think about that. There's no question that pulling chest will cause you to lose your head voice. And you can damage your voice. You can damage your vocal cords. Now, if you're still in your teens, you've gone through vocal change, but there's also still hormonal changes going on, even though your voice has dropped. And so it might be still some of that. Anyway, okay, thanks for joining me today, you guys. Yeah, so Colin, email me if you want to get linked back up to it's not visible on the website. I just extend the invitation for people to get Sing Higher Than Ever Before who first join the subscribe to powertosing.com. You'll get some welcome videos, like 6 or 7 welcome videos, and then I'll tell you about Sing Higher Than Ever Before. If you're interested in it, then you can get it then. If you've already gone through that and not done it and want to recircle, then just email me and then I'll send you a link where you can go look at the course again and decide if you want to get it. All right, thanks everybody. This is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. Thanks again.